2023 NFL Draft, the Washington Commanders select Emmanuel Forbes, defensive back, Mississippi State.
Levinson, throw it, he's picked up! Going the other way is Forbes!
Who has the most pick sixes in FBS and SEC history.
And another pick by Forbes, and he takes it to the house, hits his fourth career pick six. And it's blocked. He picked off Emmanuel Forbes.
Sixth interception of the season.
Washington.
And welcome on into Command Center Draft Special presented by SeatGeek, the official primary ticketing partner of the Washington Commanders. And welcome on in. Julie Donaldson here with you for a live special draft night. It really takes no introduction right now. We've already been introduced. Emmanuel Forbes is in-house joining us. Of course, Fred Smoot, Santana Moss, and standing by is Logan Paulson, because we've got to break down the play of Emmanuel Forbes on why he is the perfect gentleman to be selected in the first round for the Washington Commanders, and also some of the best names that are left that Washington could be targeting to tonight. But let's get straight to it, to Emmanuel Forbes right here. But before we really, well, first off, like, we just saw that video coming in. That was just 24 hours ago.
It was.
It's been a wild 24 hours for you.
It has.
What's it like looking back on that moment and knowing where you are now?
Honestly, just excited, honestly. Just knowing last night that I was chosen in the first round, 16 pick to the Washington Commanders.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. You're sitting next to someone.
We've all been there, so don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. It's still, I mean, you are only the second first-round draft pick by the Washington Commanders. Yes. Let's go. Look, we're talking about you joining us here. Last night, though, nobody was more excited than your fellow alum from Mississippi State. We've got to introduce you correctly. This is how we're going to do that. Fred Smoot last night.
That's what I'm talking about! Right there! That's what I'm talking about! That's what I'm talking about! That's what I'm talking about, man! Right there! Right there! Right there! Hey, give it up, that! Give it up, brother! Give it up! That's what I'm talking about!
And he hasn't stopped talking smack. We call it Smoot smack, since you're drafted. But honestly, we've been hearing your name from Fred since like really the end of the season. You have been on top of his list when many people were saying, you know, who should Washington get? You are always a target. What does it mean now know that your name was officially called? And here you are in the house. You've already said to me some of the coaches, get familiar with the facility.
I'm just enjoying it, honestly. You know, just finna be here for a long time, plan on being here for a long time, and just come here to win games, honestly.
Hey, here's a good thing about it. If you go to a restaurant and the food good, you're going back. The one thing about Washington, they went to the Mississippi State restaurant, and it's been good to them. They gave them Preston Smith, Fred Smoot, gave them Montez Sweat, and now we give you the young prodigy from the defensive backfield. It all works for me.
Yeah, you got to give it to him. I mean, Fred's been talking about you, man, since January, I told you. And he made me go out there and get in the lab and go check you out. But what I want to ask you, just hearing, you know, I was in your presser, and I heard you say you was one of 10 siblings. How was that growing up, man? I mean, I'm pretty sure those battles, and I'm not sure how many brothers you have, you know, compared to sisters. Yeah. How was those battles like, though, being, you know, one of 10, man? Because I was the oldest of 3, and I pretty much ran the house, you know?
There's a lot of tough love, you know. There's a lot of compete. We just competed with everything we did, and they challenged me every day, and they just made me who I am today, honestly.
That's what's up.
We're also talking about how you grew up in a football family. We heard that as well. And you first played receiver and DB. Like, did you just kind of, because you were the youngest son, so you go by junior, was it kind of like the only position left open for you? All your brothers and family took all the others?
Dad's a linebacker, brothers safeties. I was a receiver. I was like, I'm not going to play receiver in college. I don't want to, so I just moved to corner.
How much does that hand to that game kind of really help you when it does come, as we talk about you being that ball hawk?
It plays a big role in my game, honestly. That's literally what my game is about, turning the ball over and going to score with it, honestly. So it makes me who I am.
All right, well, one thing we do have in common. When I came in the league, I was 172 pounds. Now, I'll never forget my first weigh-in downstairs. I literally snuck like 5-pound weights in my pocket.
No,
because
you did not.
I did. I told Tanner about this because they had me mentally conscious about my weight. I was 175 pounds. And I remember walking in and the sprint coach was like, what are you doing with these weights in your pocket? He's like, don't you worry about that. Just go play football. And right then, it hit me. They didn't come to Gold's Gym looking for a bodybuilder.
Yeah.
They came looking for a football player. And that's what I do well. So I know during the draft process, the only thing, they couldn't poke no holes in your game, so they had to try to poke some holes in your frame. Yeah. So how did you take that?
I just told him I played 3 years in the SEC West with 0 injuries.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I have to say.
What is the key to staying healthy? Coach even mentioned that last night, that you look at your injury report, he says doesn't exist.
Honestly, just taking care of your body and just staying in the weight room.
Taking care of your body, having a little luck on your side. I mean, we all have to have, 'cause I was one of those guys too. You got to have a little luck. But also, what I want to say is, you know, you play, that's being your body. You was out there competing at the highest level and not worried about, you know, who may be bigger or smaller. You know what I mean? You out there and made plays. One of the things I want to get at is just when it comes down to playing some of the best talent. You talked about the SEC. In the NFL now, the third string is better than some of the guys you played in the, you know. How was that like? And you already talked about. I can see your swag, I can see your confidence. But what is this going to be like now, coming in here, just knowing that hey, every guy on an NFL team is one of those top caliber guys?
Honestly, just coming in, knowing I can't have a bad day. Well, you're gonna have a bad day, but you gotta stack good days and just keep learning from the older guys ahead of me, and just take pointers from them on how to play these guys and how to do things right and stuff like that.
Be a sponge. But that's one of the key things that helped me be able to play 14 years, man. I got drafted by the New York Jets at the 16th pick. It's crazy. First round 16th pick. And Wayne Corbett and Lavernius Coles was a year before me. Wayne Corbett had probably like 4 or 5 years on me. But I was just a sponge to those guys, man. I sold up all the game amongst some other guys in that, throughout the locker room. And by the time I got here in my 5th year, I was the old head. I was the guy that people came to because I got so much knowledge from those guys. So be a sponge from day one.
No, he's totally right about that. At the end of the day, I had Deion Sanders, Darryl Green, Champ Bailey. I'm talking about yellow jacket guys. And I could literally every day at practice take a little bit of each of one of their game, and it took me to the next level. Now, the one thing I know about you, because people ask me all the time, well, are his picks, are they flukes? I said, no, I could tell that he studies the game. And some people study stuff and still hesitate. You seem to study and not hesitate. What about your studying makes you take it on the field and trust it as much as you do?
Honestly, my biggest thing is hesitation. You'll never make a play when you hesitate. And that's something that I hate to doing, honestly. And it's just from watching film, you got to look at the small details, like plays they like to run on critical downs and like later on in the game, and just master those. They try to get to about different formations and things like that. And just remember, you got to remember, right? Got to really smart, and I just remember a lot of things.
We know that you set the record for FBS, the most pick sixes with 6 of them. What else should we know about your game, though?
That I'm a really good tackler. I've had 140 tackles in 3 years on my defense, and
Message.
Just saying, people try to knock me on my tackling up, but I'm a really good tackler.
Let them knock you down.
That's what lazy reporters do when they see you 170 pounds. Like I say, the 2 things they step us with: injury prone and cannot tackle. But you play way bigger than you are. Now here go the thing: like once the lights start flashing and the work start. Do you got anybody? Because my first guy I was looking forward to checking was Jerry Rice, because I'm from Mississippi. I looked up to Jerry Rice. He the GOAT. I couldn't wait to play him. Is it any receiver you just like, you know what? I can't wait to play this dude. Maybe it's an old vendetta. Maybe it's just somebody you looked up to or somebody you watched. Anybody?
Devontae Smith.
No, it's a little rivalry there, right?
I had him my freshman year. He went for 250 on us.
Ooh. And that's Slim Reaper against Slim Reaper, because he 175, you 179. Oh, I can't wait when you got him 2 times a year. And I can't wait.
2 times a year.
What have you learned from this coaching staff so far? I know it's just been kind of like brief handshakes at the moment.
Honestly, you can just tell they mean, like they're mean, but they mean their business. They do what they say they're gonna do, and like they just coach hard.
One of the things Coach also says as well, when you do go into the draft, you have to look at your division.
Mm-hmm.
So right there, to Fred's point, and to Santa talking about the receivers, and there's some legit receivers that you're going to have to go up against. What is it you want to really kind of take your game to that next level to be able to in and out, make sure that you lock them down?
Honestly, just taking the small details from film that I can learn from older guys, and just put that in my game and put me in position to make plays.
Do you
on the
have
ball.
somebody that, like, where you're sitting here with some older gents, as they call the old dogs,
heads.
the old heads?
I got
Is there
Benjamin
somebody that you
Button.
kind of modeled your game after? You kind of looked and studied?
I studied a lot of Darius Slay.
Okay.
I watched a lot of his tape,
Yeah,
and
that's
we have the same off-man technique. I'm sure that's going to change, like different things, but I watched a lot of his stuff.
I mean, I know that day that you was waiting on is finally here, and we all reflect. We all get a chance to talk about leading up to the draft. What was it like for you? Because I know for me it was odd. I talked to nothing but Washington reporters and ended up in New York.
Yeah.
Did you get a dose of these Washington reporters calling, trying to check with you throughout the week, or was it just kind of like you were just basically copacetic and just waiting for that day to get the call from whatever team?
I had to take another test for Washington, and that just I was like, yeah, I'm going to Washington.
They researching me a little bit too much right now.
Ooh, what was in that test? What can you share?
Was it a Wonder Link?
It's like a S2 test, like reaction and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, we need some ball hawks.
I
So
would say not me, because I end up doing a lot of stuff, and like you said, in our day and time, I think they brought us in to pick our brain about the other player that they really want to draft, and then the other team that ex-players about us, we end up going there. So the process was kind of different at the time.
You come in, you seem reserved, relatively kind of quiet, but what are you like when you get on the field?
It's a whole different person, honestly. I can't even explain
what's your
it.
sign is?
What you mean?
Oh, here come the astrology, man.
Yeah, it is.
Here come Moon Man Rick.
Oh, Capricorns think they the best thing since sliced bread. So.
See, there he go.
Well, where does that side from you come from?
My competitiveness. I'm just when I'm on the field, you cannot have this on my past.
There it is.
Yes.
Well, we're gonna at one point want to mic you up a little bit.
I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
But
What is it? Okay, so we're here. We're breaking down. We've been seeing some film from what you do, but what is a specialty when you're not on the football field? Like, what are you doing when you're away from the game?
I wakeboard and surf a lot, and I golf
really?
a lot. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
A wakeboard and country boy.
It's Grenada Lake. We got the biggest lake in the city.
I understand. No, I think it's the reservoir.
We got the biggest man-made lake.
All right. I just had to make sure I get it right there.
Yeah, Fred know it all.
I'm a nerd. It works.
Any questions you have for us on what you need to know about the DMV before you leave?
Honestly, I'm good.
Yeah,
I've learned everything I need to know, and I'm just here.
I got
we
a
will
quiz
take
for
good
you.
care of you.
Before you got here, did you know it consisted of 2 states in the capital of America? Did you just think it was just Washington, D.C.? Because when I first got drafted, I I guess it's just the city of Washington, D.C., but it's Northern Virginia, Southern Maryland, the DMV, right?
So I actually did think it was in Washington, D.C., but when I came my top 30, I was like, where are we at? We're in Virginia. I was like, oh, okay. I didn't know that. So
Well, you're not too far from Washington, D.C.
Down the street, around the
I'm
corner.
sure we'll make sure that we take you to the right places. You're in good hands here, and
got you.
everybody is really excited to have you. And as head coach Ron Rivera was saying, if we can get our guy, you are the guy waiting there at 16 for them. Thanks so much. Welcome to
Welcome,
Washington,
Thank you
and
all.
we look forward to seeing you around the building. And of course, when you get onto the field as well, competing.
Yes,
So let's go ahead and go to how Ron Rivera made that phone call just 24 hours ago.
Hello, Emmanuel Ford, please.
Yes, that's him.
Emmanuel, this is Coach Ron Rivera of the Washington Commanders. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. You ready to play some football?
I'm ready right now.
Okay, you can play some football for the Washington Commanders, man.
Yes, sir.
You're gonna
Yes, sir.
you're gonna be our first round pick number 16. All right.
Yes, sir.
Hey, it's an opportunity for you to do things that you did all those years down there. We need you to do the
Yes, sir.
same thing for us. All right.
Yes, sir. I'm ready.
All right. Well, congratulations, and keep an eye on the TV. You get a chance to see your name mentioned in about 10 minutes. All right.
Yes, sir.
Hey, congratulations, man. Very happy
Yes,
for
sir.
you. All right.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. Let's go on. Washington.
So So going a little bit into the numbers, we talk a lot about the game, the excitement, of course, the interceptions right there. That is one of the main reasons Coach Rivera said we wanted this guy on our roster. He's a game changer. 14 interceptions, 6 of those returned back to the house. But then look, he also says he's a really good tackler. You see the numbers he put up right there over his career at Mississippi State. So let's talk a little bit about him. And let me start with you, Logan, as we welcome Logan on into the set. What is Washington getting with this player?
I mean, I think they're getting a dynamic football player, a guy that is, like he said, he's very physical with receivers. He's a physical tackler. He's really good in space, great in zones, has an awesome feel. Like when you watch his film, he has the second best film in this entire quarterback class. I give the edge to Witherspoon, Fred. I know you disagree, but to me, the film, if you're just watching film, it's Emmanuel Forbes #1, right? And I think everyone says, oh, what about Christian Gonzalez? What about Deonte Banks? Those guys are physical freaks in a different way, but the production wasn't there for them, right? When you turn on the game, any game, he's making a play and he's doing a great job in terms of his vision. He mentioned the S2 cognition test. He understands space and zones at a super high level, and he's just I'm super ecstatic that he's here. The only question about him is the 166.
And that 166 comes with what? Injuries. That's what people say.
And
he never missed a game.
Yep.
All right, what they say it come with, he needs to put on weight so he don't get ran over. He can't tackle. Oh, he can
He's
tackle.
a great tackler.
All right, and then those stats actually left 14 interceptions. You're wrong. It was 17. They don't count the bowl game, but he had 3 in the bowl game. Don't forget about the 2 block punts and the 2 extra points.
Yeah.
This guy does it all. So when you look at like I said, they had a particular type of guy they wanted. They understood with St. Jude on the other side, pairing him with Witherspoon might not be the best pair, but pairing him with a real ball hawk, now you have the best of both worlds, and I think that's what building a team is about.
So if you've studied his tape and his film, because Fred made sure that you did quite a few months ago, so you were forced to, but as a receiver, I'm curious, when you look at it, what do you see in what he's capable of doing?
The first thing that jumped off the screen to me is just his knack for the ball. You know, and it's crazy. I was in his presser, and the first thing he said was, I played receiver growing up. Bingo. And I remember I used to talk to Fred all the time about playing defensive back and moving to receiver. You know, when I was a young, kid playing ball 1 and then going to high school. And trust me, it translates. It's one of those things that if you play one, you can be better, that much better in the other. And we need that on our team. It's very vital. When we watched so many games last year and saw how tough it was for our defense, no matter how good they played up front, just stopping guys or getting them out of third down, or just getting a turnover. You know, turnovers are very vital in this league. So now having a guy that can go out there and say, okay, now we don't have to rely on solely on
the
Juice
D-line
or our
and the D-line.
We got another guy who can go out there, and not only he's going to play great corner, he's going to give you some of that D-Hall. He's going to go out there and say, you know what, I see this coverage before on film, and I'm going to jump this. You know what I mean?
Whatever happens.
And wherever they do, make sure you got my back, because I'm jumping. And that's what you want as a guy. Like
Logan, I want to ask you this. What do you see? Because folks kind of wanted Christian Gonzalez. Why is he the right pick for this team?
I mean, when you watch Christian Gonzalez, he is fluid, he's fast, he's big, he's strong, he's a tremendous athlete. He's a freak athlete. But the production, the consistency, especially against top-level opposition, isn't there. Like you watch the Georgia game from last year, first game of the year, he didn't show up. He didn't play well. And I will say Forbes, every week, SEC, best teams in the country in college football, and he's there, and he's making plays, and he's doing an excellent job. And Tana mentioned like how he plays coverage. This team plays cover 3 match. They have to match concepts at a super high level. How many times last year were there coverage busts because guys just didn't match concepts correctly? He does that at a super high level. So Ron, earlier this week, was like, we have to get the guy that fits best what we do defensively. Of those top guys, he played a defense that was most similar to here. So in terms of fit schematically, like, fans should be super ecstatic about this, and I'm not just hyping him up. That's film supported. So if you doubt me, go check the games out.
Well, how about this? If you doubt what Logan is saying right now, well then maybe you weren't listening to Fred Smoot all along, because this is what Fred has been saying from day one.
Emmanuel Forbes just a Bulldog. He's a Mississippi State Bulldog, and we know one thing about Mississippi State Bulldogs.
Got a 15-minute conversation about him?
Listen, worked last year, and he gonna do it again. He gonna put that money right.
Who are you picking?
Emmanuel Forbes. I'm going to Mississippi State.
Get out of here, man.
Listen, I believe in going to where treated you well. Love to see him paired up with St. Juice, 261 corners with ball skills. I would love it. Water covers 60% of the world, and we know Mississippi State defensive backs cover the rest. Mississippi State has treated Washington well. Montez Sweat, young Fred Smoot. They went there before and picked the corner. They went there before and picked the cornerback that weighed 170 pounds.
And
turned out pretty good.
No.
All I'm saying is this
Talk
guy.
about yourself now.
Yeah,
I did.
I love it.
In third
I love
person. A lot of guys, but I don't know personally who you get right here. But Emmanuel Forbes is still available at 16. That's what I'm talking about! Right there! That's what I'm talking about! Hello! That's what I'm talking about!
Like, we know you've been high on him from day one. I think I was in like 20 different outfits. Yeah. By the time you said his name, at least 100 different times, though. But did you really think he would be coming here to Washington?
I like to put stuff out into the atmosphere.
Speaking to existence.
Just good
And
energy.
you spoke the hell out of it, man. You spoke the hell out of it, I will say.
Listen, I could be an agent the way I've been doing the difference right here.
He might have to give you a little
No,
something.
there's a
percentage, right?
Because
Yeah.
listen, you gotta realize they had him second, third round
Yeah.
when the draft process started. But I knew once people say, you know what, let's sit down,
Yeah.
let me watch him and see what's going on. You see him match up. We were talking about Christian Gonzalez. I have never seen Christian Gonzalez matched up with any great wide receivers until he played Georgia, who Georgia did not really have great wide receivers in USC. He played nobody. I watched this guy right here play Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson. I watched him play Devontae Smith, Waddle, Jameson Williams. I watched this guy play George Pickens. I watched this guy go against all the people that he finna go against in the NFL. I knew he was ready. I just knew some team was going to be blessed with his presence, and boy, Washington, D.C. did it.
I mean, being an SEC girl myself, I get the respect for that conference. The challenges, people always say, you know, which team do you dislike the most in the SEC? I'm like, any of them. Because they're all, on any given Saturday, it is going to be a tough out for sure in that one. Coach, he agreed with Fred as well. Here's what he was saying as he was coming into the park on draft day.
The big thing for us is if Emmanuel Forbes is sitting there, there's an opportunity for us to get our guy. One of the guys that we really highly covet right now. Playmaker. He's a turnover machine, and that can impact our team, our defense in a very good way.
You add to the secondary, that is a unit that we knew coming in. We kind of wanted to beef up just a little bit. Santana, you take a look at the players that they have on the roster where they fit. Benjamin St. Juste coming back, Kendall Fuller, which he said will already be golfing with Emmanuel Sanders, but they'll be playing together in the field. How do you see these players in the best position? Who fits where?
Well, you never know because we just picked up a free agent in Cam Dantzler, and he's
Mississippi State boy.
He's a pretty good talent too. I got a good friend of mine. He's a cornerback, one of my best friends. We grew. That's all we do is talk football. We've been talking football since we was, you know, in high school, and now we stay up here in Virginia together. And he was the one that told me about Cam. But when you look at the scheme of things, we just have to talk about the guys who played last year. You have to think, and Logan can probably have his own opinion, and Fred also. You have to think. You want to see my man Forbes outside and along with St. Juste, and you put the good
Kendall
old
Fuller.
savvy, veteran Kendall Fuller inside. I mean, he's such a smart guy, savvy veteran that he can show those guys a thing or two, and also play off of what they got going on outside. You know, Kendall's one of those guys. I've been wanting to see him have to not run with guys because this league is different. It's a track meet now every week, you know.
And he's not getting any younger.
Getting older, definitely.
He's not getting any younger.
But also say you're in a situation where you don't have to do anything. Benjamin St. Juste has played the slot before. Kendall Fuller can stay outside. You got Danny Johnson. You got Percy Butler. They've got guys that have that slot skill set. So I think it's just like get them out there during OTAs, during training camp. Let's see who does best and what matchup works the best. Because like remember last year, once that group gelled and they started communicating really well, that's when it clicked, right? So maybe it's the best 5 guys, kind of doesn't matter who they are. So.
Yeah, what's key is just having that depth. You know, we've been talking about it so long, bringing more depth.
And one person get hurt, the team don't need to shatter and fall apart.
Well, and we saw really a good growth from Benjamin St. Juste that he could play in the corner and on the outside. And then unfortunately, he went down to injury. And in comes Danny Johnson again, making nothing but plays out there as well. Really excited to see this unit on the field. And I think you really touched on it too. Like a lot of it is, Fred, as you know, it's the chemistry. It's that being able to have the instincts to know where, everybody's at so you can just get it, run and go and react
It's a bar
quickly.
band type of connection to where I need to know where you're going to be at. So I know.
You say boy band?
Yes.
Boy band,
Oh,
like in sync.
Yeah,
boy
like
band.
the dance move.
Okay, like we all
You know
have to
that,
be.
right?
We
Yeah.
have to be on the same accord.
Bye, right?
So
See? You
so
had it.
in that way, I want to teach. I want to teach FedEx in the fans of Washington how to watch Emmanuel Forbes play football game. First, you grab your drink, alcohol preferably. You sit down in your seat and actually watch the game. And probably the first third down, they're going to throw an out wide at Emmanuel Forbes. He's going to pick it up. And I want everybody to stand up slowly, put their left hand up, and celebrate. Because when he get his hand on the ball, he is explosive as any offensive player in college.
Also, I wanted to ask you about this, Fred, just because I like him. Film's excellent. One thing, a little bit trigger happy. Does that make you worried at all?
No, because he's going to learn when to take his shot. Like, he's going to learn inside of a game, when can I take my shot? And he's going to think about it. Now that we're trying to turn the tide offensively, it's different for a corner playing with the score 3-3. In a corner playing with a 10-point lead. When we ever get a lead with him on the field, watch out, because that's when he gonna start to hunt when it won't cost us the game.
Yeah, that's one of the things I spoke on. Just knowing that now you have a talent out there that you have to almost eliminate him, knowing that he has great ball skills. You know what I mean? You know how when you watch Deion play in his prime, you didn't go at that side of the field in crunch situations.
It can cost you the game.
It cost you the game. So now you have to say, okay, we're gonna limit, that side of the field. So now we're gonna put all the best guys on this side and say we're gonna try you. Now our defense can play into that. You know what I mean? Just knowing that we have a talent over here that they don't want to go at because of his skills. So it's gonna be interesting, man. But we putting a lot on his plate right now. He's a young kid. We just drafted him. I'm just looking for him to get in here and kind of learn the system.
Get with the fellas.
Get familiar with the guys and be able to go out there and make the plays.
Just a real quick question, Fred. For playing DB, that seems like one of the hardest transitions in the league. What does he have to be doing, you think, to make sure this goes well for him?
Well, he got something that most corners don't have. When we young in college, we usually just better than the competition.
Right.
He is a studier. He actually, not only does he study, he believes what he studies. And he puts it on film. That's the next maturation for a cornerback. How can I study my way into interceptions instead of work my way into interceptions? This guy right here is already on that level. So when he get with the veterans and refine that, I think he's going to be one of those guys that really take it to the next level, and you won't ever see him panic. The one thing I loved about his film, I never saw him panic. They tell me he's already in the right position. So.
You ever get tired of being right all the time?
I never get tired of being right. It started when I was born. When I was born right.
And if not, Fred will tell you that he's always right as well.
The doctor slapped me, I slapped him back.
So if you want to meet Forbes and you want to talk to Fred and tell him how much he's right, or maybe tell him he's wrong, because nobody's ever right 100% of the time, head on out Saturday to our draft party. It is presented by SeatGeek. It's at the National Harbor from 11 o'clock to 4. Tana, you're going to be out there as well, right?
Be there.
Yes, he is. So you can meet our whole crew. We should just rope Logan on in. Bring your kids, bring your wife. It's a fun family affair. Why not?
Yeah, why not? Okay.
Everybody should go. Visit commanders.com/draft party for tickets. I will be there interviewing Emmanuel as well, once again, as well as John Allen, Sam Howell, and Jahan Dotson. Make sure you're there as well. So this is the first time Washington has selected a cornerback in the first round since 2005 when they selected Carlos Rogers. But here they go, DB in that first round. And of course, look, he joins Montez Sweat, Cam Dantzler, the latest Bulldog. Let's now go into the film room with Logan and Fred.
All right, Fred. I mean, I don't even know what to say right now.
Say thank you.
Thank you. I guess I should say thank you. Here's your guy, and he's got this big turnover chain, right? That means he's been making plays, right?
Yeah.
And we got a chain too, Fred.
Yeah, give it to him.
And I think that you deserve this, right? You deserve this chain because you've been right. You've been calling this since when? January?
I have.
And that gets me, and you deserve that. You just put that on right now.
Madam Cleo is my aunt.
We got a broken chain.
Don't worry about it. I got
just hold it.
I got this. I'm a dog.
All right, you're a dog. All right. So let's talk about your boy.
Yeah.
The guy you've been talking about since, I feel like since the beginning of the year.
Yes.
Obviously, outstanding football player, understands concepts, makes plays on the football.
Yeah. No, not only makes plays in the football, he trusts what he studies.
Yes.
And you'll always see him never in a panic position, but always head back. That's how you can tell as a cornerback got confidence in what they do and he always getting his eyes back. And I'm telling you, if the ball gets anywhere near him, he's Johnny on the spot.
And then I love the footwork, love the athleticism here. You just see kind of the dexterity that he has on these returns. You've always said he is a threat when the ball's in his hand. And then you said, Fred, and this shows up on the film.
Yeah.
He's a tough son of a gun now.
Yeah.
Watch this tackle. This is him on the running back here.
And that's the knock on him because he's skinny.
Yeah.
No, watch the film.
Watch him rip this guy's thigh pad apart and say, "What's up?" out of screen left. That's what you're looking for there, right?
That's what I want. Somebody comes in there with bad intentions.
Yep.
And he gets up and he lives to play another day, and that's what you want from
And that's
your
an
cornerback.
outstanding tackle. And again, That's something that shows up down in and down out. Here it is. I think that we talked about this earlier, right? A little trigger happy. In college has the recovery speed to make up for it. But talk to me about this play.
And this is what I want from a cornerback. We all gonna get in trouble, but can you get out of trouble? Most cornerbacks can't get out of trouble. He never panics. He's comfortable. This is what a 4-3-5 looks like. He clicks it on, he cruises, and he finds the ball.
And you mentioned, man, he's got his head. He's lost. And he's got his head back to the football, ready to make a play.
That's what I'm saying. So he knows I'm gonna catch up with him. I just need to find the ball, not the person.
And that's a tough catch too. And then you see that receiver skill set in there, right? And then this is the highlight play. This is the one, right? I don't even know.
No. Let me tell you about this one. See, Forbes list. You don't want to be on the Forbes list. So usually when you're on the Forbes list, you're a billionaire. His Forbes list takes money out your pocket. Will Levis was a top 5 quarterback. You know what happened? Forbes list. He got on the Forbes list, and now his stock has dropped.
And he talked about the film study. Here's this short motion, and you see, watch his eyes, watch the recognition here. He says, I've seen this on film before. I know what's going on.
And won't hesitate.
Yep, doesn't hesitate.
Don't
he
hesitate.
Says, I'm going to make a play in this football, and that is a tough catch.
Did you see the closing speed on that?
Absolutely, man. He is a special football player.
Nobody in the picture but me and you. That's the difference. The separation right there shows you what type of speed he has.
And we talk about, hey, he's in the SEC. This is the best football team, one of the best football teams in the country, right? Here he is down here at the bottom of the screen. He's going to take on this receiver, and he's physical. See the length? Get off me, receiver. And I'm going to make a physical tackle through that outside side pad, and I'm going to pop up. I'm fine, right? I didn't turn to dust at 166. Right? There it is. Everyone, check it out. Right? He's okay. He'll be all right.
For those, that's lazy reporting when they say what he cannot do. Watch the film, and the film tells you. And this is why I think coaching them draft him. When they looked at Christian Gonzalez, when they looked at the rest of the film, they film don't look like this.
Doesn't. That's absolutely right. And you talked about the instincts, Fred, here again. He understands what's going on here. This is a screen pass to the receiver. He says, I know what this is. I'm going to trigger on this. I'm going to beat. This is a first-round tackle.
Right here.
Get out of here. I'm going to undercut this and make a nice play on the football, make a tackle. The instincts are off the chart. The playmaking's off the chart. Fantastic football player. And let's finish off, because you always talk about how he's a weapon when the ball's in the air, when the ball's in his hands. This is a little bit fortuitous, right? Kind of pops right up.
Not fortuitous. Don't be using that big word. This is called Johnny on the spot.
Johnny on the spot. He grabs his football and then,
look at this. Look at this. Look at that.
And then we're scoring touchdowns.
That's what a sports car look like. That's a Lamborghini. That's a Corvette. Put the toe in the ground, make a spin move. Like I said, when he gets the ball in his hand, I want everybody at FedEx Field to stand up, left hand up, and celebrate.
That's exactly right. Julie Tanner, I'm excited to see people making some plays here in a Commander's uniform.
Of course, everybody wants all the information they can get on Emmanuel Forbes Jr. as he goes. So if you want more, head over to commanders.com or the team app and read Zach Selby's 5 things to know about our first-round pick, including why you should stop worrying about his weight. Leave the poor man alone. Stop talking about his weight so much. Okay, so who do you think Forbes' first NFL interception will come against? Well, to do that, you have to predict the game, predict the schedule. You have to know what it is, which is what I'm doing right now. You can go onto our app, and if you predict the schedule perfectly, which will be coming out soon, shortly in just a few weeks here, then you could win $20,000. So do you think it's against who and in what week? Go play Predict the Game on our app. Check it out. Now, here's what fans are saying so far about our first-round draft pick. Lots of folks weighing on in. And, of course, there was an event for season ticket holders out at FedEx Field last night. If you are not a season ticket holder, make sure you go ahead and get yours, because there's going to be a lot of excitement in the upcoming season, and you get access to exclusive events just like this, where Fred and Santana were last night. Great to see the burgundy and gold love coming on out for the excitement of the draft, but we are just getting started. We have to get to the rest of the rounds, 7 more picks for Washington. So let's take a look at who Logan has here, because we're naming him our self-proclaimed draft expert, right? Y'all okay with that?
How can he be?
I know. I didn't
when
get the
I'm
Forbes
always right.
You're always right.
Yeah, okay.
But sometimes we need support, man. I'm the facilitator, right? You're gonna get it done. You're the one that dunks it, right?
If Fred had like a magic marker, he'd write up there, he'd cross out Logan and say, "Here's my list." Right?
Smoot's best available.
Smoot's best available. So let's talk about these gentlemen. Which one of these players could you see Washington targeting in the second round, as that is going to be going on shortly here? And of course, our very own London Fletcher is going to be getting to name that pick as well. Santana, you had that honor not too long ago. Why don't you go first? Because these two are going to argue it out. Who do you like here the best available?
I mean, you know what? I'm gonna stick with Logan. I love Logan Pitts. I'm not on Fred's side. Fred get lucky here and there, man. So Fred my guy, but Logan has been sharp. sharp, laser sharp every time I'm in the studio with him. But offensive lineman, I'm not sure of which guy's the best.
Yeah.
I just feel like we should be trending in that area.
Well, I'm glad you said which guy's the best, because those guys are kind of guys with position flex, leadership qualities, guys that I think fit the profile for this team. I don't think, DeJuan Jones isn't on that list.
I've been saying, why not?
I love him, but I think he's only a right tackle. I think they really value tackles that can play guards, guards that can play center, and all three of those guys have the position flex. So when you're looking at O-line, don't think who's the best available, who's the best fit here for Washington. So keep that in mind when checking out that list. I think another guy on there that's interesting is Keon White, the defensive tackle out of Georgia Tech.
Yeah.
He is big, he's physical, he kind of fits that freaky mold that they like for those edge rushers.
What about I've been hearing all this stuff about tight ends? I mean, I feel like we have 3 stellar tight ends. We have one that just got paid, right? And we have 2 guys that we thought very highly of last year.
Well, Logan got.
But what is it about so many people wanting tight ends in this draft?
I think because at the end of the day, Eric Bieniemy is the new guy running that over there. He comes from Kansas City with a tight end led offense, and I think he would want. If think about it, if they said you got a player, no matter what offensive position, not offensive lineman, would it be a running back? I think that room is really packed. Where Shu can't be no wide receiver because that's the strong suit of the offense. So tight end would be, all right, where can I find a unicorn? Well, I know 2 of them. Old Dominion has Kuntz down there who I think
he fits their mold.
Well, I think this guy is just something different. I think he can be unlocked with great coaching. I think Darnell Washington is just such a freakish guy. I think he's the 5th best tackle in this draft, and he's also like the 2nd, 3rd best tight end in this draft. I think he'll be such a mismatch that if he's there, you have to second guess and say, can we pass him up? We might not need him, but can we pass him up? I love the tackle from Pitt, Warner. Didn't play a lot because he was hurt.
I think he's more of a 3rd round guy, but
but he's a starter in this league.
Yes, I totally agree with that. I think the thing with the tight end, Santana, is that they put themselves in a position where they can take the best player available. So if you've got a 1st round grade on Luke Musgrave, take him. He's at 47. I think that's what they put themselves in position to do.
I was looking at your board too, and I don't mean to cut you off. What about the kid Osiris from Florida?
So I think Osiris kind of falls in that DeJuan Jones category for this team. He only plays guard, right? Gotcha. And I think with Havili, I think I have him a little higher rated for this team because he plays center, plays both guard spot, has a little bit of tackle in his background. I think that's the right fit.
And his feet. He's slow. He's a better pass blocker than he is a run blocker. And we just saw what the Philadelphia Eagles did. We just saw what they're doing over there with their defensive line. You're going to have to get some interior. The question is, which guy? Is it a flex guy? Or do you need to go get a 6'8" monster that can manhandle some of these guys out there? So sometimes do you have to go against what you're preaching and what you're coaching to get something done?
One of the things we asked some of the fans that have been watching to give us one of their questions, and one of them wants to know, is it Brian Branch or Drew Sanders?
That's a great question. That's a really good question. I love Brian Branch. I think the problem in this defense is what position does he play?
Whose job does he take?
Right, because he's not. If he's a true safety, or you taking one of those young guys off the field, he's not big enough to be the Buffalo nickel, right? So is he just going to be your true nickel? I think Sanders gives you more flexibility within the defense, right? Pass rusher, that tall frame in the middle of the defense. He fits that mold. They like those linebackers with long arms to get in the throwing lanes. I love Brian Branch. I just question how accurate that fit is here.
Drew Sanders is the guy.
Speaking of linebackers as well, since y'all brought it up, what about the kid Trenton Simpson?
Trenton Simpson. This guy is he's moonwalking, Michael Jackson style. Back. Like I think the more people watch his film, the more people fall out of love with him.
He's a freak, Tanner.
But one of the things I saw very versatile. Like he can be a safety if you want him to.
That's the problem. He's a pillow fighter. All right, when you're gonna get in here amongst the dogs and the men, he look like he might get pushed around. When you get a Drew Sanders can cure a couple of things. Stand up linebacker plus you're losing both the ends. He can come down and play rush in. And I think they go to position flex that we was talking about. Drew Sanders brings more than that, and you guy from Wisconsin, Mitch
Heiberg, whatever.
So you make me start watching him. So that's the type of guy that they would get.
But I think Trenton Simpson. The other thing is the instincts aren't there. So do you want 2 players who are freak athletes who don't have the best instincts playing next to each other? No, you want to kind of find someone who can support and complement. I think.
Santana asked you earlier about a tight end, and one of the fans wants to know as well. Does Eric Bieniemy need a tight end? I noticed on your still available, best available, you do have one, Sam Laporta available.
Sam Laporta is an excellent football player. So is Luke Musgrave, Darnell Washington, who you mentioned, all good football players. I don't think if they don't draft one here, don't freak out. I think because of the guys they have on the roster, like Santa alluded to, right? They've got really, really talented young athletes on the roster that I think are going to be very keen to develop. They are mismatched weapons from a physical standpoint. So if they don't draft one, I think that's okay. And I think like Kuntz, for example, like Fred mentioned, is a guy that's going to be available maybe third, fourth round. So it doesn't need to be now, but keep an eye on it. You know what I'm saying? Very deep tight end class.
And it makes it easy for a young quarterback. The best outlet they can ever have is a tight end. And if you put a big body tight end that you can throw bad passes to that can come down with those passes, that just saves you a lot.
You just mentioned the quarterback, Sam Howell, coming in here. Of course, Coach Rivera is saying he's going to have every opportunity to be that guy. But folks want to know, could you see at some point, should somebody fall, or maybe there's a quarterback out there that they have interest in, them drafting a quarterback? Why don't we start here, Santana, work our way around?
I'll be the first to say I wouldn't want to see them do it. I won't be surprised if something like that happens. But I look at it like this. You have a pretty savvy veteran that can basically, coach up Sam and everything. Ride with that. I think next year's draft is going to be a situation where we can say, if things don't kind of fall in our lap the way we wanted to do,
now shoot your shot.
Boom, now you go out there. And
especially with those two guys next year.
So
that's
how I look at it.
The only thing I'd say is that if he's the best player on your board, you got to take him, right? You got to trust your evaluation. I'm not saying to do that.
Yeah.
But I'm saying if he's the best evaluation. The other thing I think that's important to note is if you have made the rumor that this organization that they're willing to take a quarterback.
Yeah.
You can trade this 47th pick. You can trade back in this round and maybe pick up a 4th or a 5th that gives you some flexibility in that 3rd round. So again, I think there's a lot of gamesmanship going on here, and I think if they did, I wouldn't be surprised. I don't think that's the best move for the future.
So you're saying if Hendon, what his name is?
Hendon Hooker.
Hooker is available, you
He's
shoot for him?
the only one that makes the needle move. He makes the needle move.
Well, also Tanner McKee, I think later would be
You love Tanner McKee.
I don't love Tanner McKee, but I think he's got traits that get you excited. You know what I'm saying?
To me, Tanner McKee, when I watch him, all I see is Mike Glennon in his neck. I don't see anything.
That's actually not a bad comp.
No.
Which is scary.
I'm just saying.
That's not a bad comp.
I woke up one night having nightmares about Mike Glennon's neck. I'm serious. All right, this is serious. I'm opening up to you.
I got you.
I'm opening up to you. What I'm saying is this. Hendon Hooker is the only one that if I'm in that room that we got a chance to get that, it's like, okay, he makes me think because he's legitly the one that could be a starter. I don't see Tanner McKee being a starter.
Yeah, he's definitely way more of a projection, and so that's why we're talking about Hendon Hooker in the 2nd round, is because he is closer than a lot of these other guys.
Now, on your still best available, there's a couple of offensive linemen, and everybody wants to know: do you see them targeting one of these guys
in the 2nd round specifically? Yeah. I mean, so what I think, what I've heard, rumors abound, is that they are not bound to offensive line. There are some good offensive linemen available. I think that's great. If one of them falls and they feel good about that guy, I think they'll take him. But I don't think they're going to say maybe we got a higher evaluation on Musgrave, maybe we got a higher evaluation on Sanders, maybe it's Keon White, maybe it's one of those guys, maybe it's a Buffalo Nickel, Sidney Brown, one of those types of guys.
He can ball.
He's a baller now, and I really like him. So I think there are some good, sneaky, quiet guys like you mentioned, offensive linemen that you can get in the 3rd, 4th round. Warren, the kid Wanye Morris out of Oklahoma. So
Andrew Boyes from USC. It's so many guys. O-lineman is one of them things where everybody if he's not a 1st round O-lineman, he's not good. That's not right.
Yeah.
That's not true. And the one thing that I want to say to people, just because you draft a person, 60% of this draft 5 years from now will be bust. Nobody wants to talk about that. Nobody would go 7 picks for 7 picks. It just doesn't happen for medical reasons, for game reasons, for other reasons. So you're trying to see how many players that I can get to contribute to a team, because just drafting some people, that's not good enough. Drafting the right person at the right time is everything.
One of the things I'm going to be looking out for, too, is just to see what we do defensive end-wise. We don't necessarily need to go out there and go on the limb and get somebody early. But we have a few draft picks that if someone's available that can bring, we know for sure who can play, we can bring them in here. I mean, hey, we all understand what's going on with the guy that we're gonna have to see next year, and then the guy that we might have to see after that year.
It's a really great point, and to your point as well, you can afford to get somebody and give them some time to grow, because you do have Chase, you do have Montez. So basically, we're all over the board, is what we're saying. We're all over the board on what's going to happen as the rest of the draft continues. But coming up shortly, we do enter round 2. London Fletcher is in Kansas City for us. Stay tuned because he's going to be making that pick. So we will see you back here live when we're on the clock for pick number 47 and when we get to the 3rd round as well. So make sure as soon as you hear Washington is on the clock, you come back here, join us all night long. It's an exciting night, day 2 of the draft. Dreams are going to be made, and we get to be a part of it. Thanks, everybody, for joining us on our draft special.
CeeLo Green.